is to teach you how to throw clay.
Throwing can be broken down into 3 basic steps: setup, throwing, and then removing the bowl from the wheel head.
All right, so to get started, you're going to need some tools. A bucket of water, a sponge, a black rib, and a sculpture tool, and a needle tool. Later on, you're going to need lifters and a wire tool.
All right, what we're going to do today is you're going to take a ball of clay like this. You're going to wedge 2 of them, and you're going to turn it into a bowl like this. All right, before you start throwing, you have to get set up. Step 1, take your chair, slide it all the way up against the wheel. Take your body, slide it up so your legs are across. Take those legs and squeeze that pan so that you can feel what that feels like. So remember, when you get sit like this, don't let one leg go backwards or both or forwards. Your legs, to give you the greatest support, need to be straight up and down. Now rest your arms on your legs. Push your elbows forward till they're uncomfortable. Bring them back till they're comfortable. And this is the position you're going to be in when you're throwing. It's real important to be able to use the whole core of your body to squeeze the clay. The different ways to turn on the wheel. I'm going to turn my wheel on by pushing the button. All right, let's start this throwing thing. So the very first thing you do when you start to throw is take a ball of clay, put just a little bit of water on one side, and you're going to throw it on the wheel head. And the reason you do that is to make it stick. So here we go. There, the clay is on the wheel head. All right, now that the clay is stuck to the wheel, you're going to get the wheel spinning. You're going to get your hands nice and wet. And all the things we talked about setup are real important. Your legs are flat. Your arms are resting on your legs. You're going to put your hands on the side of the clay, and you're going to squeeze the clay, and the clay is going to go up in the air. Get your hands wet again. You're going to put your hands on top, tighten all those muscles. You're going to push back down, and the clay is going to go down. By doing this several times, moving the clay up and down, you'll know it's in the middle of the wheel when you put your hand on the side and it doesn't wiggle. Okay, even if it's in the middle of the wheel, always a little pesky clay down there. Never gets in. So take your wooden tool. You're going to hold it here and you're going to get rid of that pesky clay. All right, pesky clay is gone. Piece of clay is centered. And that centering part is actually going to be the very hardest thing you're going to do in terms of working with clay. Right, we're making a bowl, so we need a hole in it. Get your hands on the clay again. Get your thumbs in the middle. You're going to push those thumbs down. I created that hole. It dried out real quickly inside. Okay? So I'm going to get a little water in the hole. Take my left hand, put it into my stomach. My right hand with the 4 fingers. No pressure with this hand, only with this. And I'm going to push the hole the rest of the way down. Okay? So the first few times you do this, you may not push it far enough, or you may push it too far. So to check how far you've pushed it, take your sponge, squeeze it nice and dry, push it down in the hole, dry it out, stop the wheel from spinning, grab your needle tool so your finger can slide up and down, poke your needle tool in the bottom, slide it down till it touches the clay, and then bring it out. You should have about 3/8 of an inch thickness at the bottom. If it's thicker, you're going to have to push more. If it's too thin, well, that's a problem we'll deal with later. Okay, you've centered the clay, you've got your hole, but you want to make a bowl, so we got to open the thing up and get it spinning again. You can spin it a little slower this time. Get it wet. Put your fingers in there, pressure only with the tip of this one finger, and you're going to pull both hands back together nice and slow. And now you're ready for passing. Passing is squeezing the clay and making it go up in the air. Your hand's going to be like this, but inside of the bowl. You're going to squeeze like this to squeeze the clay, and then you're going to pull it up. You're going to use your sponge on your thumb to support it to squeeze that. This is always a lot of fun. Get your hand in there, thumbs over here. You're going to get a squeeze, and then you're going to slowly pull the clay up in the air. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Let's do it one more time. Hand in, thumb on the outside, push with that sponge and thumb,
and pull the clay up in the air. So at some point, your hand actually can't get with your thumb all the way down, but you've been using your sponge, so you're going to put this hand inside, your sponge on the outside, your thumb on the other hand. You're going to squeeze again, and you're going to pull, keep the clay wet, you're going to pull the clay up in the air. Now the first ball of clay that I have you throw, I'm going to ask you to break the bowl. The reason I want you to break the bowl is every time you practice squeezing and pulling the clay up in the air, you're learning the limits of this clay. How high can I get it before it's going to break? So here we go again. Get it wet. Squeeze the clay. Pull it up in the air. Don't push too hard. You want it to go really high. You don't want it to break. Okay. Let's make one more pass. Get your hands back in there. Squeeze. I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't think I'm going to make it. I think the bowl is going to break. Okay. So that's it. First time you throw, you want to break your bowl. Breaking helps you learn how far you can actually pull the clay in the air.
Then, before you take it off the wheel, which is our last step, you need to take your wooden tool, the pointy end, and let it slide under right at the base to make a groove. Okay? So now we've thrown a bowl. There's a groove on the bottom. We're going to take this off with lifters. To do that, you're going to take your sponge, put some water in the front, grab the wire tool that we talked about earlier, get it tight in your hands so it can be pushed underneath, put it into the water, and slice underneath that bowl. Now the bowl has been removed from the wheel head. I'm going to get my lifters, slide them underneath the bowl, lift it up, put it on the project board, and voila! All right, and that's throwing a bowl. It's absolutely my most favorite thing to do, and I hope you enjoy it as much as me.